Mahinda Rajapaksa sworn in as the 28th Prime Minister of Sri Lanka. The Cabinet of Ministers to be sworn in on the 12th at the Magul Madua in Kandy. Victorious candidates of the SLFP meet at the party headquarters. Sajid Premadasa ready to lead the opposition.
අපි විපක්ෂයේ කාර්යභාරය ශක්තිමත්ව ක්‍රියාත්මක කරමින් කටයුතු කරනවා.
Kumar Velgaba speaks about the election result.
ඉතින් හුඟක් අය ඒගොල්ලන් ඉන්නේ ටිකක් දෙගිඩියාවෙන්.
A very good evening and welcome to this Sunday's edition of Primetime News, coming to you live from our Newsfirst studios in Colombo. I'm Arundhati Mudarnayaka. Let's start off with a look at the stories in detail now. Mahinda Rajapaksa was sworn in as the Prime Minister of the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka. He was sworn in before his brother, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa.
The swearing-in ceremony of the Prime Minister was held at the historic Kalaniya Raja Mahaviharaya. The ceremony commenced at 9 a.m. Former President Maithripala Sirisena, commanders of the three armed forces, diplomats, members of parliament elected this time and relatives of President Mahinda Rajapaksa were present at this occasion. Before the swearing-in ceremony, Mahinda Rajapaksa obtained blessings of the Mahasangha, led by the chief incumbent of the Kalaniya Raja Mahaviharaya, Professor Venerable Kollupitiye Mahinda Sangharakkhita Thera. At the auspicious time of 9:28 a.m., Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa was sworn into the position.
Mahinda Rajapaksa වන මම ශ්‍රී ලංකා ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදී සමාජවාදී ජනරජයේ අග්‍රාමාත්‍ය ධූරයේ කාර්ය සහ ශ්‍රී ලංකා ප්‍රජාතාන්ත්‍රික සමාජවාදී ජනරජයේ ආණ්ඩුක්‍රම ව්‍යවස්ථාව සහ නීතියට අනුකූලව අවංක යුතු කරන බවට ශ්‍රී ලංකා ජනරජයට පක්ෂපාත වන බවට මගේ උපරිම ශක්ති ප්‍රමාණය ශ්‍රී ලංකා ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රික සමාජවාදී ජනරජයේ ආණ්ඩුක්‍රම ව්‍යවස්ථාව ආරක්ෂා කොට අනුගමනය කරන බවටද ගෞරව බහුමානයෙන් යුක්තව ප්‍රකාශ කොට ප්‍රතිඥා දෙමි. After being sworn in, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and the Prime Minister visited the temple and engaged in religious observances. After being sworn in, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa visited the Hunupitiya Gangarame temple and engaged in religious observances. The Mahasangha chanted Pirit to bestow blessings upon the Prime Minister and also presented him with a souvenir.
බුදුරජාණන් වහන්සේ දේශනා කරන්නේ විනය තමයි ශාසනයේ ආයුෂ. විනය අන්දවසට පිරිනවද එදාට සම්බුද්ධ ශාසනය විනාශ වෙනවා. අපේ රටේ අපි හිතනවා විනය සකස් කරලා විනයගරුක රටක් හැටියට ඉස්සරහට යන්න අපිට මේක තමයි අවස්ථාව.
Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa followed the footsteps of his father before him and entered politics in Sri Lanka. His political career that spans over 5 decades began with his appointment as the organizer of the Beliatta electorate of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party in the year 1968. 2 years later, he was elected to Parliament from Beliatta as the youngest parliamentarian at the time. He dedicated himself to bring victory to the Sri Lanka Freedom Party through organizing various public programs and gatherings. Mahinda Rajapaksa was appointed as the Minister of Labour in the People's Alliance government that came into power in the year 1994. Mahinda Rajapaksa, who also held the ministerial portfolio of Fisheries and Water Resources, was appointed as the opposition leader in 2002. The United People's Freedom Alliance that united several political forces came into power in the year 2004, and Mahinda Rajapaksa was sworn in as the Prime Minister. He was the presidential candidate of the UPFA in 2005. He celebrated his birthday that year after emerging victorious at the presidential election and being sworn in as the 6th executive president of Sri Lanka. President Mahinda Rajapaksa was the head of state when terrorism was eradicated from Sri Lanka, liberating her people after 3 gruesome decades of war. President Rajapaksa then focused his attention on large-scale development projects in Sri Lanka in a bid to transform the island nation to the wonder of Asia. He was elected for a second term in 2010 and also contested for a third term in the year 2015. He respected the voice of the people in 2015 and stepped down from his position. A shift in the political landscape of the country led to Mahinda Rajapaksa being sworn in as the Prime Minister again on the 26th of October under the presidency of President Maithripala Sirisena. His premiership lasted only 52 days. Mahinda Rajapaksa then led the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna as the opposition leader and helped his brother Gotabaya Rajapaksa emerge victorious at the presidential race in 2019. Mahinda Rajapaksa was sworn in as the Prime Minister today for the 4th time after previously holding office as the President for 2 terms. Mahinda Rajapaksa is a proud past pupil of Richmond College, Galle and Nalanda College, Colombo. Congratulations, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa.
Now, the Prime Minister's office said the new cabinet is due to be sworn in on the 12th of August. Prime Minister's Media Secretary Vijayananda Herath stated that the swearing-in ceremony will be held at the historic Mawulmadu Hall in Kandy. Meanwhile, former Minister Prasanna Ranatunga expressed his views regarding the cabinet of the new government today.
When you're establishing a single party government, the number of ministers can go up to 30. We believe that after discussing with the President and Prime Minister, we will appoint a cabinet with a lesser number before the 14th. The people hope to appoint a cabinet that does not exceed 30 ministers. The President and the Prime Minister will not let that hope down. I can lead any ministry that is given to me. The country needs a strong opposition. However, the people lost their trust in the previous government of good governance. That is why the people sent them home. The people are still suffering due to what happened during the tenure of the government. That is why they were punished by the people.
A motor accident that occurred in Aralaganwila, Pulonarua this afternoon claimed the life of 1 student and injured 10 other students as well.
The accident that occurred along the Dehiatakandia Aranaganwila road was captured on CCTV. According to the police, the vehicle ran over 11 students who were returning home after attending a tuition class. 1 student was killed and 4 students are in critical condition. The remaining 6 students have sustained minor injuries. Reckless driving was the cause of the accident, according to the police. The driver, who was taken into police custody, was also driving under the influence.
The group of parliamentarians from the Sri Lanka Freedom Party who were elected at this year's general election met at the party headquarters this morning.
The 14 candidates who contested and won the general election were called to the meeting this morning. Party General Secretary Dayasiri Jayasekara, Duminda Disanayaka and Nimal Siripala de Silva also participated in the meeting. The meeting was held under the patronage of the chairman of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, Maithripala Sirisena.
ඉදිරියේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ තියෙන ඕනම ක්‍රියාවලියකදී අපි අපේ ශක්තිය දෙනවා. අධිකාරී ජනාධිපතිතුමත් ඒ වගේම ගරු අග්‍රාමාත්‍යතුමත් ඒකට එකතු වෙලා අපි අපේ වැඩ කටයුතු ටික කරන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. ඊම දිනක් පරාජයට පත් වුණා මේකට. ඔව් ඉතින් උදිපාවල විරුකුමාර දිසානායක වැනි ජ්‍යෙෂ්ඨ ඡන්දෙක දෙහිම තමයි කට්ටිය පරදිනවා කට්ටිය දිනනවා. ඔක්කොම දිනන්නේ. අමාත්‍ය දూరు කැබිනට් අමාත්‍ය දూరు තාම දන්නේ නැහැ කියන අනාගතේ. ඒක කීයක් ලැබෙයි කියලා දන්නේ නැහැ කියන කතා කරන්නේ. කතානායක දూరుේ සඳහා මේ මල්ටි පාර්ටි සෙන මාත්මයා යෝජනා වෙනවා. බලමු තාමත් ඒ ගැන තීරණයක් නැහැ බලමු. 20 වෙනිදා පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේදී
Supporters of Padma Udayashanta, who contested for the general election in the Monaragala district from the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, visited his residence today. They visited Padma Udayashanta to express their sorrow after he failed to secure a seat in parliament.
I'm not speaking about these things because it may reveal the truth regarding many people. Some UNP families came to my house after the defeat at the election. They said that they did not vote for the Pohotwa this time. They said that they came here as they heard that I lost the election. They assured that they will support me. I think Udayashanta, who was defeated, is now stronger.
Several supporters of Udayashanta also spoke about the matter. We wonder why he was denied a seat in parliament when he has such a lot of support from the people. We can see that there is some injustice here. We trust in you, Vimal Veeravansa. We are from the Sri Lanka Freedom Party and then we work for the Pohottuwa. We are hopeful that Udayashanta will be sent into parliament and that justice will be done to the people of Vellasa. Do this for the people of the village.
The Central Working Committee of the Ape Jana Balawegaya Party has unanimously decided to nominate Venerable Galabadatte Gnanasara to the nationalist seat secured by the party. The chairman of the party, speaking at a media briefing today, confirmed this.
We had appointed a temporary secretary for the election activities. It was none other than Vadinekama Vimalatissa Thera. I spoke to him over the phone and he said that we have secured one nationalist seat. We need to convene the working committee immediately and nominate Galugadatte Gnanasara Thera for this seat. The secretary then must convene the working committee. He told me that he will convene the working committee, but he did not do it. Then I called him and inquired on the matter. He said that he will be coming in 5 minutes and then 10 minutes and various other things. In the end, we could not hold the meeting on that day. Then, according to the powers vested in me through the constitution of the party, I appointed the former secretary of the party, Nishantha Ratnayaka, as the secretary. We then convened the Central Working Committee and unanimously decided to nominate Venerable Galabadatte Gnanasara Thera. There is a law that states that a person nominated for this seat should have either contested the election or lost, or should have his name included in the initial national list. Thereby, there was an issue on how Gnanasara Thera can be nominated for this position. But I assure the public that we have sought legal advice on the matter. There is a way in which Gnanasara Thera can be sent to Parliament through the national list. We are currently following that procedure. The Central Working Committee has unanimously decided to nominate Gnanasara Thera for the national list seat.
An event to welcome Major Pradeep Undugoda, who was elected to Parliament from the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, was held in Aturugiriya today.
Venerable Chief Thera, we did not just win, we now have a lot of challenges. People now expect more from us. We did not get a crown for our victory, but a huge amount of responsibilities. It is our responsibility to fulfill those duties.
An event to welcome Kumara Welgama, who got elected to Parliament from the Samagi Jana Balawegaya, was held in Mathugama today. The governing party secured a landslide victory, but many people are feeling uncertain whether the results of the election were hampered or not, mainly because the ballot boxes were kept for one night. Some people are worried, saying that something may have happened. Now this concern is being voiced by the ruling party members as well. We saw certain candidates of the governing party who could not make it, levelling allegations on TV that there was an injustice. Therefore, this is a puzzle. I believe that the people will be able to get to know about this in the future from these lost candidates themselves. There will be problems among them. It was Dallas Alha Peruma and Kanchana Wijesekara who pulled the greatest weight of the joint opposition, the flower bud. No one was there to pull this weight at that time. The entire Matra district was handled by Kanchana Wijesekara and Dallas Alha Peruma. When they were popular among the people, they brought in a member of the Rajapaksa family there, Mahinda Rajapaksa's sister's son. Not only that, another businessman called Kodituakku was also brought in. These two people were made the first and second, while Dallas Alha Peruma and Kanchana were made third and fifth respectively. There are many such incidents. Prasanna Ranatunga spoke big. However, he was the second. The same thing happened to Vimal Weerawansa. He could not even come close to Sarath Veerasekara. I think those who were appointed from the flower bud are not happy. They are disappointed. Therefore, this government will run. But in a couple of years, there will be problems. I would like to tell you at this juncture that they will take away the 19th Amendment to the Constitution and bring in the 20th Amendment, through which they will make it possible for Basil Rajapaksa to be the Prime Minister, even though he holds dual citizenship. This is my prediction. Then all those who were dreaming to be the Prime Minister will have to forget about it. I must tell you that it will be another Rajapaksa. In response to a question by the journalist whether the elected MP would leave the Samagi Jana Balawege, Kumara Welgama had this to say. As long as I live, I would be where my supporters are, and that is the Samagi Jana Balawege. Kumara Welgama is a man with a spine and a straightforward man. That is why the people of Kalutara called me the Lion of Kalugantora. This lion would never get to the flower bud, nor will I go to the joint opposition, and I would not go anywhere where there are Rajapaksas.
Mahinda Rajapaksala ගෑවිච්ච තැනකට යන්නේ නැහැ කියන එක.
These were the views expressed by the general election candidate Asela Sampath during a media briefing.
මේ ලක්ෂ 50කට ආසම ඡන්ද දාන්න ආවේ නැහැ කියන්නේ කාගේද වරද? එකක් තමයි එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයත් සජිත්.
More than 500,000 people did not cast their votes. Now whose fault is that? The first reason was the quarrel between UNP and Sajid Premadasa. They did not play the role of the opposition. They were more concerned with how to separate a plot of land. On the other hand, the people of this country did not speak at all about the current issues that the country is facing right now. We were the only people who spoke about the issues that the people were facing, including the issues regarding turmeric in the country and the cost of living. But our voice did not reach the people due to the lack of time and the lack of a proper platform. That is why we lost votes. After Nagananda Kodituakku, I was the person who campaigned heavily from the independent groups. The party of the gas cylinder, who did not campaign at all, has over 1,000 votes. How do they have 1,000 votes? These are problems. There were many civil society activists and other professionals who campaigned from minor parties and independent groups that are not aligned with the main political parties. We have a serious suspicion that the votes secured by these candidates were changed in fear that these candidates who come forward in the upcoming local government polls, at least at the upcoming election, change this ancient system of physically counting votes. Technology is advanced now. If the franchise of the people is to be ensured and elections are conducted transparently, modern technology must be used. We hope that a national policy on food will be formulated in this parliament. We hope that a national policy on consumers will be formulated in this parliament. We also hope that policies on education, health and transport will be formulated in this parliament.
ඔය පාර්ලිමේන්තුව හැදේවා කියලා බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා අපි. මොකද එහෙම කට්ටියක් ගිහිලා තිබෙනවා.
Aniket and the paddy field is a part and parcel of a farmer's daily life. A group of farmers in the rural village in Meegahakiwula Badulla are struggling without being able to build an aniket.
The village of Kulalawatta in Polwatta, Meegahakiwula, is situated about 25 miles away from the Badulla town. Surrounded by picturesque mountain range, the Mahakumbara paddy field spans several acres. The aniket has been damaged since 1990 and not been maintained for a long time. 5 years later, the villagers worked hard towards a new solution, but there was not enough support. When the construction of the road commenced in 2005, the situation worsened.
The problem we have is that when the road is built, the rock stays in the canal. We built the concrete wall in 1995 and then in 2005 there was another issue after the road was constructed. We requested the authorities to build the aniket several times. They have not been repaired until now. It would be great if concrete is laid throughout the area. Now the water is low and we can't work in the yellow season. For years we've been pointing out to the relevant authorities to build this aniket. It has not been done yet.
For about 60 years, we drank this water and used it for farming as well.
We divert some water by creating barriers through putting stones and sand. This gets washed away during the rainy season. No repairs have been made by any government.
People of this village are waiting to see if the agricultural authorities will draw their attention towards this issue.
Leader of the Samagi Jana Balawegaya, Sajid Premadasa, met with supporters in Colombo and expressed his gratitude towards the support rendered during the recently concluded general election.
Sajid Premadasa, who visited the Lanka Rama temple in Colombo, 14 obtained blessings. He then visited the Sri Kalyani Gangarama temple in Mattakulia and engaged in cordial conversation with the chief incumbent and other theras. Subsequently, Sajid Premadasa arrived at an event which was organized at the Sucharita Hall in the St. Sebastian area. Floral tributes were also presented to the effigy of late President Ranasinghe Premadasa during the event.
අපි විපක්ෂයේ කාර්යභාරය
We will consolidate the stance of the opposition through the many pillars of Buddhism. As the opposition, we will strive to eradicate extremism, racism and terrorism. We will mobilize the role of the leader of the opposition. We are prepared to initiate development in central Colombo, the whole of Colombo and also the entire country without the power of the state.
රාජ්‍ය බලයක් නොමැතිව අපි ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්න ලෑස්තියි.
Fishermen say that there is a risk of their boat being damaged due to a fishing vessel floating in the Chilau coastline. The vessel was spotted 3 days ago. The fishermen say that the fishing vessel is still afloat. The fishermen have complained to the Navy and the police regarding this incident. According to the fishermen, the vessel is about 6 nautical miles from Chilau. The fishermen suspect that the vessel, which is about 200 feet long, is a barge.
Give us a solution as soon as possible. We don't know how many boats will get damaged because of this vessel. We can't find out what this is. We think it's a barge. It is a risk being in the sea. It would be ideal if it's brought ashore.
When Newsfirst inquired from the Navy, they said that the barge is about 200 nautical miles away from Chilau. They also pointed out that they will continue to be vigilant in this regard.
Indian police sources confirmed that Sri Lankan underworld Don Anguloca could have been poisoned to death. Reports suggest that Anguloca had died of cardiac arrest at a rented house in Cheran Mahanagar in Coimbatore on the 3rd of July.
The Times of India said the post-mortem carried out at the Coimbatore Medical College and Hospital on the 5th of July revealed bluish discoloration of the victim's finger and toenail, adding in no external or internal injuries were found. The report added the crime branch CID police are trying to confirm the identity of Anguloca through fingerprint comparison. The Times of India said Anguloca once used a Sri Lankan passport that identified him as Illuage Sadun and he had escaped to Tamil Nadu on an illegal ferry. The report further said when Anguloca attempted to return to Sri Lanka using the fake passport, he was arrested by the Chennai police on the 9th of June 2017 and police had collected his fingerprints at that time. Further, the crime branch CID police in Coimbatore filed a petition with the Chief Judicial Magistrate Court of Coimbatore seeking police custody of the 3 people arrested in connection with the mysterious death of Anguloca. The Times of India reports CBCID sought 7 days custody of Amani Tanji from Colombo, Madurai-based lawyer Sivakami Sundari and her friend Dineswaran, and the petition will most likely be taken up on the 12th of August. Police arrested the trio for hiding the identity and citizenship of Anguloca and fabricating documents to obtain an Aadhaar card for Anguloca in the name of Pradeep Singh.
The visuals you witnessed were the pleas of a group of people requesting for clean drinking water. We had a report on the 27th of last month about the plight of the villagers of several villages including Ottukulama, Kalayagama, Andigama and Galkulama, which are situated bordering the Kurunegala and Putlam districts. Not even 2 weeks have passed since then. Certain people who featured on the report are no more. When will the lives of these people be salvaged from this imminent threat by simply providing them with clean drinking water?
Residents of the villages of Ottukulama, Kalayagama, Andigama and Galkulama, which are situated bordering the Kurunegala and Putlam districts, have been suffering for a prolonged period due to the lack of clean drinking water. News First brought to your attention their suffering on a report aired on the 27th of last month.
කුරුණෑගල සහ පුත්තලම දිස්ත්‍රික්කයේ මායමේ පිහිටි කාලයාගම ගම්මානයේ මේ අපි සතියකට කලින් මේ ගම්මානට පැමිණියා මේ ගමේ තියෙන ජල ගැටලු සාකච්ඡා කිරීම.
I am currently at the Kalayagama village which borders the Kurunegala and Putlam district. A week ago we came to this village to speak about the water issue. On that day we visited this house because at that time there was a 44-year-old mother who was a kidney patient. 1 week later she passed away after her illness intensified.
අපි මෙහි නැවත පැමිණෙන විට ඇය මේ ඇඳ තුල නැහැ. ඇය මේ වෙනුවට ජීවිතුන් අතරත් නැහැ. ඊට හේතු වුණේ මේ රෝගය උස්සන්න වීමෙන්ම ඇය ජීවිතක්ෂයට පත්වීම.
Kidney patients are common in these villages. This mother of 3 is also a kidney patient.
සතියට දවස් දෙකක් නිකවැට ඉස්පිරිතාලට යන්න ඕනේ ඩයලිසිස් එකට.
දැන් මේ වෙනකොට කියලා තියෙන වක්ගඩු දෙකම නරක් වෙලා කියලා අම්මා වක්ගඩු අමාරුවෙන් මේ බෙහෙත් ගද්දී ෆිල්ටර් වතුර තමයි බොන්න ඕනේ. ඒක ඔක්කොම සල්ලි වලට තමයි ගන්න වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. මුළු ගමේම අයට තියෙන ප්‍රශ්නයක් ඒක.
A father of 3 in this house is a kidney patient as well.
දැන් අපි බොන වතුර මේව තමයි බොන්නේ. අපිට ඉතින් හැම අතින්ම වතුර තමයි ගොඩාක්ම ප්‍රශ්න වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒක පිරිසුදුකම නැහැ. මේ කිරිම කිරි පාටයි වතුර ඉතින් පේනවනේ. පෙරලට බලපුවාම.
While area residents continue to suffer in this manner, an unutilized water project which commenced many years ago at a cost of upwards of 10 million rupees has now been classified as a white elephant.
මේ ජල ව්‍යාප්තියට එක පවුලකින් රුපියල් 1000 ගානේ ආධාර මුදල් එකතු කෙරුවා. ඒත් එකතු කරත් මේ කිසිම රාජ්‍යයෙන් කිසිම දෙයක් කරේ නැහැ අපිට. මේ අලුතෙන් පත් වෙච්ච රාජ්‍යයට ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා මේ අපිට වතුර ටික ලබා දෙන්න කියලා.
This is the dilapidated state of the main entry road to the Nikawatalanda village in Alanaganvilla, Polonnaruwa. According to the villagers, the road has been this way for 7 years. There are 500 families residing in the village that was built under the 1991 immediate Mahavalley project. Farming is the main livelihood of these villagers. Although a 4-kilometer section of the road has been renovated 8 years ago, the villagers allege that it was not done properly.
මේ වැස්ස නැති හින්දා තමයි මෙහෙම ඉලා තින්නේ. වැහි කාලෙක එහෙමනම් ආයි කිසිම වාහනයකට යන්න බෑ. ගොවියන්ට වී ටික ගේන්න වාහනයක් අරන් යන්න වහන්දියට යන්න එන්න ලෙඩෙක් කරන් යන්න කිසිම දවසක මේ රැයක හදිසියක යන්න එන්න බෑ. මෙතන එක් මිනිහෙක් මෙන්න මේ හරිය පුස්සයකලෙන් ඇවිල්ලා වැටිලා ඔතනම මැරුණා. බෑ හදන්නම් වාලේ හදලා ඔය දම ගහලා ගියා. වාහන ඉතින් හැමදාම අපලන් තමයි ඉතින් මේක ආවොත් අපි එන්නත් කැමති නෑ.
The asphalt along a kilometer stretch of the road has given way and stones have begun to emerge. Villagers have little faith in ministers, members of parliament or officials intervening and solving this issue.
මැති ඇමතිවරුත් එනවා මේ පාරේ ලැජ්ජා නැතුව. ඒ වුණාට මේ පාර කවදාවත් හදලා දෙන්න කාලෙට ඇවිල්ලා ඡන්දෙ විතරක් අරන් යනවා අපේ.
Nazir Ahmed, who was elected to parliament from the Sri Lanka Muslim Congress, was met with opposition in Batticaloa.
Nazir Ahmed, who secured a seat in parliament, was met with opposition while on his way to meet his supporters in Kaptankudi, Batticaloa. The Sri Lanka Muslim Congress secured 34,428 votes from the Batticaloa district, and Nazir Ahmed secured a seat in parliament. He faced strong opposition in Kaptankudi last night. This was the situation when he visited Palamune.
Area residents allege that a state-owned plot of land in the Sisirawatte area in Dambulla is being bulldozed by a third party.
For a long period, locals in the Sisiravatta area have been saying that this land of over 4 acres is government land.
62 බුරුළු කපලා තියෙන රජයේම ගැපුවේ මේ ඉතින් 60 60 තමයි අපි දැන් ඉන්නේ. ඔව්. ඒතකොට ඒකේ 60 මෙදිනේ 60 ඊටම රජය සතු ඊටමකි.
However, during the curfew period, due to the coronavirus, a group had bulldozed the land. After the destruction, the group had grown crops on the land.
කිසිම බලපත්‍රයක් නැතුව මේ රජයේ කැලේ කපලා ඩෝසර් කරලා දානකම් මේ කිසිම නිලධාරියෙක් මේක බැලුවේ නැහැ.
Although the Grama Niladari and other officials were informed about this, the residents of the area said that no one had taken appropriate action.
For around 2 years, we've been asking for this to be made a playground. We have written permission from the Geological Survey and Mines Bureau and the District Secretariat. The Grama Sevaka told us not to enter, so we did not. We followed the law. Now he's trying to occupy the land by erecting fences.
The person who bulldozed and set fire to the land is a government job. He has grown mango and coconut plants. The residents of the area are blaming a Samudhi officer. We questioned him as well.
This is a land I have had for 30 to 35 years since the time of my parents. This is an incident that is being dragged for political gain. Because I am a government servant, I have made submissions to the Divisional Secretariat with a project report requesting for long-term lease. So it was only after that I continued this development activity. In 2012, my wife has gone to the Land Secretariat. It has been rejected. But it is a land we utilized. That's all I have to say.
It is said that complaints have been lodged with the police regarding this incident. We inquired about this from the Dambulla Divisional Secretary P.R. Jayasurya.
This is a land belonging to the government. We have received 2 requests. One is a common request from the area residents, which is to transform this into a playground. The other is a personal request to give it out on a long-term lease to cultivate mangoes. Since there is a public and a personal request, we have forwarded this issue to the coordinating committee meeting to provide a solution.
Party crisis and nationalist candidates are some of the most widely discussed topics. Thawarasa Kalayarasan has been nominated to the nationalist seat of the Lanka Tamil Arskachi. However, the decision to name him as the nominee for the nationalist seat has been met with opposition from both a section of the Lanka Tamil Arskachi and the members of the Tamil National Alliance.
Speaking at a media briefing in Batiklo today, the General Secretary of the Ilangai Tamil Arasu Katchi, K. Ture Rajasingham, said that the nomination of Kalayarasan for the nationalist seat has been sent to the chairman of the Elections Commission.
A member of our party has announced that he is ready to take up the leadership in our party. We reject that. Both the leader of our party and myself are being pressurized to take up the nationalist seat. I sent a letter to the Elections Commission nominating Thawarasa Kalayarasan for the nationalist seat of our party.
Meanwhile, the leader of the Tamil National Alliance, R. Sampanthan, contested the election under the promise that a nationalist seat will be given to a representative of the Trincomalee district. Thereby, supporters of the candidate who secured the second highest preferential votes, Shanmugadasan Kugadasan, visited R. Sampanthan at his residence. The situation at the location escalated fast. A group including the deputy leader of the Ilangai Tamil Arasu Katchi, CVK Sivanyanam, who gathered at the party office in Jaffna, said that the nationalist seat should be given to the leader of the party, Mave Senadiraja, who was defeated at the general election. Meanwhile, constituent parties of the Tamil National Alliance also voiced their opposition.
R. Sambandhan has not spoken with us regarding the nationalist seat yet. Generally, he would contact us over the phone and ask us. Sambandhan has no right to make an arbitrary decision like this. All 3 parties must unite and make a decision. But the General Secretary of their party had reached this decision without the consent of the leader of the party. I informed R. Sambandhan regarding this over the phone. The stance of our party is that the national list should be given to Mavai Senadiraja.
Meanwhile, the residents of Kalmune celebrated the joy of receiving the nationalist seat of the Ilangai Tamil Arasu Katchi.
Atula Senanayake, the husband of Colombo Mayor Rosi Senanayake, has passed away at the age of 64.
He is the father of the Samagijana Balavege, Colombo district candidate Kanishka Senanayake. Atula Senanayake, who was the son of the former IGP Stanley Senanayake, was a businessman and a hospitality professional and has over 40 years of experience in the industry. He has worked at many leading hotels in the country before commencing his own business in the hospitality sector.
And with that, we wrap up tonight's edition of Primetime News. Thank you very much for joining us. Good night.